Phone in airplane mode just answered a question ChatGPT needs a data center for. No signal, no cloud, no subscription, 27 billion parameters running on the device in your pocket, sending exactly 0 bytes to a server. While OpenAI burns millions on GPU clusters, this model runs on the battery in your hand. Stay with me, the math actually works. This is Bonsai 27B, an open weights model you download once and own forever. Here is the stake on the table. ChatGPT Plus costs $20 a month, $240 a year, forever. If a free model on your own hardware matches it for everyday work, that subscription era is over. Not eventually, this year. Let's test that claim. Part 1. The model itself. Bonsai is a terrible name for this thing. A bonsai is small. This is a 27 billion parameter brain that happens to fit in a small pot. The trick is not shrinking the tree. It is pruning which branches wake up. Now watch. Here is the spec sheet, 27 billion parameters total, but this is a sparse mixture of experts design. For every token it generates, a router picks a small subset of experts and leaves the rest of the network asleep. The weights are fully open, you download the actual files, and the license is permissive so you can ship commercial products on top of it. No lawyer required. This is not vaporware. Here is the model card. Real weights and safe and source files you can inspect, checksum, and download today. Release notes, config, tokenizer, all public. And watch the download counter, hundreds of thousands of pulls since release. There is no API key, no waitlist, no paywall. The file is sitting there. Anyone with bandwidth owns a copy. Now the math that makes this insane. A dense 27 billion parameter model at 16-bit precision needs about 54 gigabytes of memory. No phone on Earth holds that. But quantize the weights down to 4 bits with GGUF and the footprint collapses into the 14 to 15 gigabyte range. That is not workstation territory anymore. That is a flagship phone. Compare it to the open models you know. Llama 27B is a strong model, but it is dense. All 27 billion parameters fire on every single token. Same story for Llama class models. Bonsai stores the same scale on disk, but activates only a small expert slice per token. Dense means workstation power draw. Sparse means it survives on a phone battery. Part 2. How a data center brain fits in your pocket. 2 tricks do all the work. Sparsity decides how little of the model has to think at once. Quantization decides how little space each thought takes. Master both and 27 billion parameters ride in your front pocket. Trick 1 first. Mixture of experts in plain English. Think of the full 27 billion parameters as a library on your phone's storage. Every shelf exists, every book is there, but when you ask a question, a router walks in and consults just a few shelves, the experts, and ignores the rest. Compute, heat, and battery all track that small active set, not the whole building. Quantization levels are a dial, not a religion. Q8 is near lossless but 29 gigabytes too big. Q5 trims to 19. Q4 lands around 15 gigabytes with quality loss most people never notice in chat. Q2 fits anywhere but gets noticeably dumber. The community settled this argument years ago. Q4 in llama.cpp's GGUF format is the default sweet spot. Your phone quietly became an AI workstation. Apple's A-series Pro chips ship a neural engine rated at 35 trillion operations per second. Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8. Elite pushes its Hexagon NPU 45% faster than the last generation. And Android flagships now ship with 12, even 16 gigabytes of fast RAM. Suddenly, a Q4 build of Bonsai has somewhere to live. So what do you actually feel? On a current flagship, expect somewhere in the range of 15 to 20 tokens per second from a model this size. A 2-year-old phone lands closer to 5 to 8. Here's the trick. You read at roughly 5 to 7 tokens per second. Anything above that outruns your eyes, and the chat feels instant. Part 3. Let's install it. You do not need a computer science degree, a gaming PC, or a terminal. If you can install an app and download a file, you can run Bonsai. From nothing to a working offline AI in under 10 minutes on Android or iPhone. Timer starts now. Android first. Step 1. Install Pocket Pal or MLC Chat from the Play Store. Both free, both open source. Step 2. Search the built-in model list for Bonsai and grab the Q4 build. It is one download of roughly 16 gigabytes, so use Wi-Fi. Step 3. Load the model. Step 4. Flip on airplane mode and ask it a question. It still answers. Now iPhone. Grab a local model app from the App Store. Pocket Pal is there too, and apps like LLM Farm handle imported weights. Pull in the quantized Bonsai file and iOS does something clever. Unified memory. On a pro-tier iPhone, the CPU, GPU, and neural engine share one pool of RAM, so the model loads once and every chip can touch it. Power users, this one is for you. Clone llama.cpp from GitHub, build it with one make command, and pull the GGUF file straight from Hugging Face. Then a single line in the terminal starts the exact same engine Pocket Pal wraps in a friendly interface. No account, no telemetry, no middleman. Every phone app in this video is this stack with a paint job. 3 settings decide whether this feels great or terrible. Set context length to fit your RAM. Every extra 1,000 tokens of history costs memory, so 4 to 8,000 is the sweet spot on a phone. Drop temperature near 0.2 for fax, raise it toward 1 for writing, and keep the KV cache quantized or hour-long chats will crawl. Part 4. The fight you came for. Same prompts, 2 contestants, a model living in your pocket, and ChatGPT backed by a data center drawing megawatts. We are scoring this honestly: knowledge, math, code, and writing. Where the cloud wins, I will say so. Where it doesn't, that should worry OpenAI. Here are the numbers. On MMLU-style general knowledge, Bonsai lands in the mid-70s, the same band as the mid-tier cloud models. On GSM-8K grade school math, low 80s. On coding evals, roughly 2/3 of problems solved. That is not GPT-5 territory, and I won't pretend it is. But here's the twist. Free ChatGPT users get routed to mid-tier models anyway. The coding round. Same 2 tasks for both. Fix an off-by-1 bug in a pagination function, and write a debounce utility from scratch. Bonsai catches the bug, explains the fix, and its debounce runs first try. Correct timer handling, correct argument passing. ChatGPT's answers are cleaner commented, sure. But we are grading on does it run, and both submissions pass every test we threw. Round 3, writing, which is what most people actually use ChatGPT for. Task 1, summarize a 3,000-word article into 5 bullets. Task 2, turn an angry customer complaint into a professional reply. I put both outputs side by side and honestly could not tell you which came from the phone. At 27 billion parameters, everyday writing is already a solved problem. Now the math that ends arguments. ChatGPT Plus costs $20 a month. That is $240 a year every year forever. And you still hit rate limits at peak hours. Bonsai costs the download. Once. $0 a month, 0 a year, no meter running, no usage caps, no price hike email. The subscription era is a choice, not a law. Part 5. Enough benchmarks. Scores don't answer the real question. What do you actually do with an AI that never needs a signal? The next few minutes are pure workflows. The places where cloud AI physically cannot follow you, and the habits that change once intelligence lives in your pocket. Picture the spinner. 12 hours over the Pacific, no Wi-Fi worth paying for. ChatGPT is a dead tab. Bonsai keeps drafting. A geologist logging samples 3 hours past the last cell tower, a basement lab, a subway commute, a national park, and the big one, corporate networks that block cloud AI outright. Your phone doesn't ask permission, it just answers. Now the killer workflow. Private document Q&A. Drop a contract, a medical letter, a bank statement into the chat. The app chunks the text, embeds it locally, and Bonsai answers questions against it. Ask what the termination clause actually says. Ask what that lab value means. The sensitive text never touches a network interface. It physically cannot leak because there is no wire to leak through. Then wire it into the phone itself. On iOS, shortcuts can pipe your clipboard straight into the model and speak the summary back. On Android, Tasker does the same with an intent. Summarize this page, draft a reply to this text. One tap, no API key, no monthly quota. The automations people pay OpenAI for become free buttons on your home screen. Here's the developer trick. Most local runtimes expose an OpenAI-compatible server on your phone. Start it, and anything built for the OpenAI API, scripts, editors, chat apps, works by changing one line, the base URL. Point it at localhost instead of api.openai.com, set the API key to anything, and your existing code now bills $0 and leaks 0 tokens. Now the part most videos skip. Part 6. The catch. Bonsai is genuinely impressive, but it is not magic, and a channel that hides the trade-offs is selling you something. So here is exactly where a phone-sized model loses, what it costs your battery, and where it will confidently lie to you. Credit where it's due. ChatGPT still wins 4 fights outright. Live web search. Bonsai's knowledge froze on its training date. It cannot check today's news. Image generation, not on a phone. Context. Cloud models juggle entire code bases in 100-page reports. A 27B on mobile handles a fraction of that. And multimodal input. Screenshots, voice, video is still cloud territory. Text is Bonsai's lane. Now the physics bill. A flagship phone battery stores roughly 17 watt-hours. Sustained generation pulls several of those watts continuously, so an hour of heavy use can burn a quarter of your charge. And silicon has a temper. Push long sessions and the chip throttles tokens per second sagging as the case warms. Bonsai is built for bursts. Marathons still belong to wall power. 3 failure modes to watch. First, hallucination without a safety net. No web grounding means when Bonsai doesn't know, it improvises with total confidence. Verify anything that matters. Second, language. Quality drops hard outside well-resourced languages like English. Third, context shrinks in practice. The spec sheet promises a long window, but once your RAM fills, the usable number is smaller. Plan around it. Here's the trade in one line. The only AI conversation nobody can read is the one that never leaves your hand. Cloud chats sit in logs. Logs can be subpoenaed, breached, or quietly folded into training data. OpenAI is under a court order in the New York Times case to preserve user conversations. On device, there is no log to demand. Nothing exists to leak. Let's lock in the recap. 1. This is real. A 27 billion parameter model running on retail phone hardware. 2. Sparsity plus quantization is the trick that makes it fit. 3. Install takes about 10 minutes. No terminal required. 4. On everyday writing and coding, it trades blows with mid-tier cloud models. 5. The remaining limits are physics, battery, heat, memory, not marketing. So when do you actually switch? Move to Bonsai for anything private. Contracts, health, finances, for offline work on planes and job sites, for unlimited free drafting, and for everyday writing and coding. Stay on ChatGPT when the answer lives on today's web, when you need images generated, or when the project is 100 files deep. 2 tools, different jobs. You now know which is which. Who should install this today? Privacy-conscious professionals first. Lawyers, doctors, accountants, anyone whose documents legally cannot touch a third-party server. Travelers and field workers who live beyond reliable signal, developers who want a free local endpoint for scripts and side projects. And honestly, anyone paying $20 a month to ChatGPT Plus for tasks a 27B now handles for free. Bonsai 27B, the phone-sized ChatGPT replacement. A frontier-class conversation in your pocket, on your terms, with no meter running and no server listening. If this video just saved you a $20 subscription, spend 10 of those minutes installing it tonight. And stick around, the local AI story is only accelerating. Subscribe if you'd rather understand the future than pay for it.